Hi, I'm Gandalf Clark.
I'm Ellen Clark.
And we're the Clarks.
Okay, part 3. News you care about. Okay, so this is the third piece. I found this interesting. Okay, so we've all been waiting to find out, how's Trump not going to be president, right? We're all like, okay, is it going to be this trial? Is it going to be that trial? Is it going to be this indictment? January 6th committee, whatnot, okay? So I love just, learning, reading, exploring the internet, all this hubbub things. Okay. So I just read something and I was like reading, I don't know what I was reading, but I came across a certain word, and it was a word that I had never seen before. And you guys are going to be like, Ellen, you are dumb, because I didn't know this word. Miscegenation.
Miscegenation.
Right. I come across this word. What the fuck does this mean? Do you know what it means? Okay, I'm not dumb then. Okay, so I looked this up.
I wouldn't put your bar by me. That's not...
I looked this up.
I shouldn't be your bar.
And apparently, this word is related to the 14th Amendment. And I'm like, that's interesting. They've been talking about the 14th Amendment a lot recently because Colorado, as you know, or you may not know because this is news you care about, the state of Colorado has brought a case saying Trump can't be president because he gave aid to insurrectionists. Okay.
He led them. He didn't just give aid to them. He led them.
Just this is a little summary.
He told them to go storm the Capitol, people.
According to the Colorado Sun, it says it's all right there in Section 3, known as the Disqualification Clause of the 1868 Amendment. The 14th Amendment not only famously guaranteed the civil rights of former slaves, but it also laid down rules against those who had engaged in sedition. After the Civil War, that was obviously a hot topic. And suddenly, after the January 6th insurrection and the reemergence of Trump, it's a hot topic again. A New Mexico District Court judge disqualified a county commissioner last year from holding public office for engaging the January 6th insurrection. This was the first time the 14th Amendment had been used that way in 100 years. So this court case actually could disqualify Trump from being in office.
Please.
And many states are looking to this. But what we found out recently is it's actually going to go to the Supreme Court. Okay, so I'll let y'all know what happens here. But
yeah, they're gonna dismiss it.
We don't know.
They're a bunch of Republicans. They're the majority Republicans.
Let's have hope.
They're the most horrible people in the world. They overturned Roe v. Wade.
They did. But let's just...
They're the most horrible people in the world. There's no way they're gonna side with us in this.
Let's see where it goes, okay? We know this could be horrible. We know this could be really bad. But like I said, let's this word I didn't know, miscegenation.
Show me the word again.
Okay, let's go back to the word. It's in OneNote. Here we go.
Miscegenation.
Miscegenation. Okay, so what does this have to do with the 14th Amendment? Because I'm like, where does this word come from? Okay, so apparently there's a part of the 14th Amendment that has to do with this. Okay, so this is specifically, I'm reading this from Justia, U.S. Supreme Court. I'm going to put all these links in the show notes, okay? The 14th Amendment requires that the freedom of choice to marry not be restricted by individuous race discriminations. Under our Constitution, the freedom to marry or not marry a person of another race resides with the individual and cannot be infringed by the state. These convictions must be reversed. So basically, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And did you know that the sentence right here where it's saying anyone born in the United States is automatically a citizen, this is actually something Vivek Ramaswamy wants to change. He wants to say, if you're born in the U.S., you don't automatically become a citizen. Just wanted you to know. He wants to change that in the Constitution.
He's not even white.
No,
Why would
he's
he
not.
do that?
I don't know. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdictions the equal protection of laws. So basically what happened is it says all marriages between a white person and a colored person shall be absolutely void without any decree of divorce or other legal processes.
What the fuck?
So that's what happened. People were trying to stop white people from marrying colored people. According to, I'm not saying colored people, I'm saying according to this document.
Anyone who's not white.
Anyone who's not white. So intermarriage was prohibited, meaning white persons. So this 14th Amendment, this is miscegenation, that word. Here, you can look at the word.
Miscegenation.
Means when a white person marries a person of color. Okay? And when I was reading this on a Reddit, when I saw that word, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is what they're trying to stop. They're trying to stop people from mixing. Yeah. So that's news you care about. Yeah, so we're having some reactions about this, aren't we?
Yeah, and we will be cutting what I said before because I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is really upsetting that people think they can determine who someone can love and marry based on their religion, because that's what it is. It is a twisted version of the Christian religion that is doing this. Okay.
And by the way, neither Gandalf and I are purely white. I got some Mexican in me. You got some Jewish in them, and some black.
And Jewish is not white, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah.
That's why when I fill out a job application, I say mix of two or more races.
Yeah.
Because
I'm what we
white.
All are.
We're both half white.
Yeah.
Together we make one whole white person and then one
whole colored person.
Mixed.
One whole person of color.
Person of color. Yeah. You say person of color. Don't say colored person.
I said that because I was reading this before, and sometimes those words that I've read before get stuck in my head. So that's why I'm saying I apologize. This is what I read here. It's saying here also, just so you know, it says the exception for persons, there's an exception with less than 1/16 of the blood of an American Indian. So if you're American Indian, it's okay if you mix. So it's, if you got 1/16 of an American Indian, you can marry a white person. So, anyway, I found that out about the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is a pretty interesting amendment. And this is why, when I went over the first Republican debate, I did think it was an interesting and good suggestion to have us learn about the Constitution as part of high school education, because we didn't go over the Constitution line by line. If we knew what was in the Constitution, we would fight for it, because the people who created it were trying to fight for our liberties, our protections. And the thing is that if there are things in here that we don't agree with as humans, where it just says man, you okay? Mm-hmm. Just says man instead of woman or person, it should be changed. The language needs to be updated. Yeah. The United States is one of the only first world countries that doesn't have a living government
here's what
document.
I say about this. I'm going to compare this to what happened with the Immortal, okay? And I'll explain. All right?
Okay.
when I originally wrote the story that would eventually become The Immortal, okay, or the podcast that we have right now, I had this whole long thing that was the first podcast we put out. We had this whole long thing that was just describing the world, and basically that we didn't understand that belonged in a story Bible. Okay, now eventually we went through what was said and everything. We went through that whole part, and we changed it. We said, you know what, I can make a lot of changes to this, but I think what we really need to do to simplify it is rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, rewrite a new
introduction.
No, not an introduction.
Prologue.
No, a new
Book.
Canon. New canon. Basically, write a new story canon that will tell you, okay, this is the world we're dealing with, and it wasn't something that would go in the story. It was something that would just be referenced occasionally, and it was something that we know as part of the story Bible. I had to rewrite the whole story canon because it was too long. It had been written, I want to say, 20 years prior, okay, and it wasn't that good.
And there were certain things about it that were no longer accurate because we changed.
Right, we changed
canon.
certain things. We changed certain things, and
Like,
we needed to change the canon to match. So what I'm saying is, the Constitution is great, but it needs to be rewritten in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that we should throw everything out. I'm saying we should modernize it and, have it reflect what our current reality is with rules based in modern day and not 1876.
Right.
I mean, that's... Or 1867, whatever year
1868, I think, was the year that...
Well, 1868. So 1868. So, yeah. We need something that represents the American people now, not the American people almost 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, or 150 years ago.
Yeah.
We need something that's actually going to show us, this is what people are entitled to. Mm-hmm. There should be no mention of race.
Yeah.
There should be no mention of, marriage not only being between a man and a woman. That
Unless
stuff shouldn't
it's
even
to
be
say that race is irrelevant.
Race is irrelevant, and
except we are all humans, and we are part of the human race.
We are all human.
That's one thing we did change in the story Bible too. Is like we wrote under race. Is it human? Is it Slovenian? Is it a Rakshasa? Yeah, like
whatever.
What races and like what planet did they come from? Like we're all freaking human. This is just shades of skin, people. Shades of skin
and cultural background. That's all it is, and what part of the world you were born in.
Yeah, you can change
gives a shit.
You can color your hair. People in Asia bleach their skin. Okay, so it does not matter the color of your skin. Okay, Michael Jackson had that disease that lightened his skin, which made him.
And everyone thought he was bleaching himself.
Which was definitely not true.
Not to say he was innocent in all matters.
None of that stuff we want to talk about because that is not this discussion today. But that is just pigmentation because, according to the Bible, which I'm not saying is like a correct, but humans began in, the Middle East is like where humanity began, which means that everyone's skin tone was that color.
Yeah, but I don't think that's really, I don't know if that's really accurate.
Well, if you look at the science, there was one continent that broke into many continents, and that continent was called Pangaea. And so
I think I've heard about
when Pangaea broke up, the continents went into different places, and that's when the pigmentation of people's skin changed based on how often they were outside.
Right. So the other thing is, don't believe everything. In fact, don't believe anything in the Bible. Okay, except judge not lest ye be judged.
What I'm
Everything
saying
else is complete and
is
utter
whether you
bullshit.
believe the Bible or whether you believe in science, either way, everyone had the same skin tone at the beginning.
And I mean, the other thing I want to say about this is that, okay, so people have used the Bible for years to judge other people.
It's true.
Okay? And in the Bible it says, judge not lest ye be judged. So now what's happening?
Yeah.
So now they're saying, the evangelicals are saying, well, Jesus is too liberal.
He's too woke.
He's too woke.
There's a preacher that...
Jesus is too woke, people.
That was on...
So don't follow him anymore.
That was
you
on
morons.
the news. There was a preacher that was on the news, and he was like, I don't know what to do because, like, I had these people come up to me after the service, and they're like, where did you get that sermon from? And he's like, the Bible. And they're like, who said it? And he's like, Jesus. And he's like, well, Jesus is too liberal. Jesus is too woke. And so the pastor had to quit because he's like, I don't know where to get stuff if it's not from the Bible.
Your religion is breaking down. Your religion is breaking. Abandon all religion. Your religion is breaking down. Facts are coming in and saying all these things you thought are actually scientifically wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Stop being an idiot.
It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, all these things seem like they're breaking down, and this is, like, part of the thing where I was saying, like, in the workplace, in that other video that I was talking about, where Jimmy Fallon was, like, abusing his people, I think this is all a push where society is saying, we're not going to take what we've taken all our lives. We're not going to take religion anymore. We're not going to take the government telling us what to do anymore. We're not going to take jobs abusing us anymore. I think that people in general are all just saying, like, we want to be treated better. We don't want to have money rule us. We don't want to have tyrants abuse us. We don't want to have parents spanking their kids. We don't want to be forced into having children. You know what I mean? Like, that we can't support. We want to be able to get an abortion if we can't do that. Like, if I had Crohn's when I was 20 and I would not be able to raise a kid and have Crohn's, like, I wouldn't be able to take care of them. I can barely take care of myself. I need Gandalf to help me, bring me food, take care of the house, wash the dishes, wash the laundry. Like, I can sit at a computer and work some of the time, a very small amount. I do the best that I can. When I feel well, I create beautiful things like the Cannabis 101 guide with my friends' help. Okay? We do projects together. I could not do this alone. I could not do this without my friends. Okay? And that's how society should be. We should be a communal society that helps each other, that takes care of each other. Everyone taking care of themselves is not working.
The other thing is, like, even in literature, people don't succeed alone.
No, they do not.
Even a writer. Let's take one of the most famous writers out there. Mm-hmm. All right. What's a good famous writer?
Tolkien.
Okay, Tolkien.
Yeah.
Tolkien had to have a literary agent.
Oh, yeah.
Tolkien had to have editors. I mean, no one achieves anything alone. You can't do anything alone.
All these people who are making movies, all those movie writers, animators, there's so many people who have made Tolkien's work famous and made it so that we love it now. I mean, gosh, when I sat down to read his book, okay, I got with this beautiful man right here, okay, and I said, I have to read Lord of the Rings stuff because my husband's named Gandalf, okay? I had to sit in a hard chair with coffee and cigarettes. Back then I smoked, okay? By the way, smoking can make it so that you can be more susceptible to Crohn's. So don't smoke if you smoke.
Also,
try to quit.
Also, it'll fuck you up for COVID too.
Yeah, fucks you up for COVID. So if you do smoke, try to quit.
Cigarettes.
Tobacco. Yes, tobacco.
Weed is okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I just remember reading Tolkien's work, and I understand why it's so important, because without it, we wouldn't have the fairies, and we wouldn't have the elves, and we wouldn't have all of these beautiful things that we have in literature now, and the hobbits, and he had such a beautiful ideas, but the way that he implemented them on paper is very difficult to read. But with the help of other writers, he has made, his ideas were made into movies. Same with George Lucas. His ideas were not as great. He was the idea man. People polished that turd, and they polished it and polished it.
I would not call Star Wars a turd.
Originally it was. Originally, Star Wars was a turd. His
hold
friends
on.
told him it was awful.
Hold on.
No, his friends told him it was awful. But when it was made into a movie, when they helped him make it into a screenplay, it actually turned out good. Trust me.
Do you think he had to continuously rewrite it like I've had to do with the Tiny
Yes, it was horrible. His friends told him it was horrible when he was in college, and they were like, "This is wretched." And he had to keep making it better and better and better and better and better and better. And that's why if someone does something that sucks, you need to be a good friend, and you need to say, "Hey, friend, your work sucks, but I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your work. I'm going to tell you the problem is this character, blah, 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 or the story,
Unless there's
blah,
nothing
blah, blah,
redeemable
blah, blah.
about it whatsoever. Now, I will say my first book that I wrote, never published, but I did have a copy written, was a complete turd.
But you had ideas.
But the idea, well, it wasn't a complete turd, but the writing was not good. The ideas were great. I'm an idea man. I'm not the best writer in the world. I'm better with just creating the universe.
You're a George Lucas.
I'm a George Lucas, right.
You are a George Lucas.
Right.
You're a Tolkien.
I'm a Tolkien, you know.
Which means our stuff could get made into movies.
Yeah.
Because you have the help of all these
I don't even think
writers.
my stuff needs as many revisions as their stuff did.
No, it has.
I mean, you're talking about...
You started writing this when you were a kid.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay? And I only saw
it
the
was
10th draft or something, and I laughed at it. And I said, "This gives me a headache." Do you remember?
Yeah, we were getting ready to go into chapter 14.
And there was so much sex in it.
Well, originally. I didn't actually type any of that up. I wrote this book originally by hand at the smoke alarm job that I was at that I mentioned in another place. I sat there. That was one really good thing about that job is most of the time there was barely anything to do. So I sat there and wrote and bought stuff on eBay and, you know, started getting my reputation really good on eBay and everything. And
You're still an eBay seller.
I'm still an eBay seller. I'm doing that to survive right now. Yeah.
You know what? You should add that to your resume, eBay seller.
Really?
Yeah, because you've done that for so long.
I don't know. That's not really a thing, is it? Because that's sales. I don't want sales in my resume.
That's true.
I don't want sales in my resume.
That sucks.
I can't sell anything except for electronic insurance. That's the only thing I can sell is electronics insurance.
Yeah.
So anyway, no. My first draft was terrible. Okay, my mom edited the whole thing. Never told me it was that bad. Apparently, she enjoyed it. I don't know how she enjoyed it, but she enjoyed it. The writing was not great. But when I started writing what I was thinking was going to be a prequel to that book, okay, where the kids start out in high school. Because in the original book, the kids didn't start out in high school. They started out in the military.
Yeah. And
they didn't really talk about the past that much. But now we have these kids who are graduating high school. They're joining a military. They're going off to an academy in another dimension. They're fighting demons and vampires. Everybody's got powers, and it's just, and some of the stuff from the original book stayed. I mean, there's a lot of rules that stayed, but there are certain things that we're not doing too.
But you know what really helps writers, though, is having that story Bible to write with. You know what I mean? It's like, if you already have a character, that's why fan fiction is great. Because you can write like a Harry Potter story or a Spider-Man story.
There's already established canon.
Yeah, there's already established canon. And that's what we're doing is we have our whole Battalion 13 universe. Look at this lovely banner behind me. Isn't it beautiful?
Show them the whole thing.
The whole thing. I can't show you guys the whole... Actually, TikTok can't even see it. You know what? For TikTok, I'm going to make a special video just for you. okay, where I'm going to show you the banner because it is beautiful. I found it upstairs, and we've been doing a lot of cleaning, and I was like, you know what, we should put it in the video. And I have 2 of them, so we should probably put one like on the other side, maybe.
No, I need to be able to get to that.
Yeah, that's where you're going. We have a small house, but we have a house, and we're grateful for it. We have a place to live.
Hoping to keep it.
Thanks to our roommate that's going to be moving in. Hopefully they can help us support it. But yeah, poor writers, that's who we are. Thank you for listening to us blather on today. We need to go get some writing done, and we need to put these videos together. We need to get some more work done. It's Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and listened to us. Glad to be back on screen. Glad to be feeling better. So, take care, guys.
Bye, guys.